Good morning, good afternoon, good evening internet, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Economical Rides. Hi there. So you join me on a very hot and very windy day with Buddy Hawley, my Meteor 350, and today we're on our way to Almeria. So it's not just the channel that's 1 year old. The channel being 1 year old of course also means that Buddy is 1 year old. So today we're on the way to Almeria for Buddy's 12-month service. And because it's very windy, I didn't do any on-bike filming because I don't think the audio is going to come out very well. So anyway, yeah, we're on our way to Almeria now. It's in the afternoon, it's Wednesday afternoon. We're going to drop the bike off at the dealership this afternoon. Then I'm going to stay overnight in a hotel in Almeria. So I'll share some impressions of Almeria with you. And tomorrow lunchtime-ish I should be able to pick the bike up, and I'll talk to you about how I think the service went and how much it cost, and possibly I can film a little bit on the way back. Depends on the wind. I think it's going to be less windy tomorrow, so yeah, we can probably do that. So the interesting thing today is that I am actually having to do an overnight stay in Almeria for the simple reason that I wanted them to do the valve check. And I wanted them to do it with the engine properly cold. And since I have an hour and a half's ride to the dealership, there's no way normally they could do it in one day with the valves cold. The engine would just take too long to cool down. So yeah, basically I decided I'll come up the day before, leave the bike with them. They can crack on with it first thing in the morning with everything cold. And then it should be ready by lunchtime. So that's the plan. So I'll get geared up now, get back on the bike. And probably next time you hear from me we should be in Almeria. Bye bye. So Buddy made it to Almeria. Here's the Royal Enfield dealer and he's ready for his big service tomorrow. So my job now is to try and find this hotel for the night. Let's go. So this looks like our hotel for the night. Let's get checked in. So here we are. This is my room for the night. It's very comfortable. I have a nice bathroom with a very good shower, which I've just tested, which is in there, so that's all good. Yeah, and then I have this weird extension. It's like I've got my own conference room. I'm not sure what this is all about, but if I go out here, whoop, I've got this bit. I'm not sure what that would be useful for, but it just seems to adjoin to my room for some reason. So yeah, maybe I could do some skittles or something. So it's been a long hot ride and walk to get here. I need beer, so off we go. So after a night of good tapas, good wine, good beer, good whiskey, you join me the following day. I've just left the hotel, and before I leave I just wanted to show you John Lennon. We have a statue of John Lennon here in Plaza Flores, and you might be wondering why would Almeria have a statue of John Lennon. Well, there is a connection between John Lennon and Almeria, which Almeria is quite proud of, but hopefully I'll go into a little bit more detail on that later on. But for now, here is the statue of John Lennon in Almeria, which coincidentally was right in front of the hotel. I didn't know that at the time, but there you go. So that's John Lennon, and now the journey continues. I'm going to go to the cathedral. We're going to go to the Alcazaba, which is the Moorish fortress, and after that hopefully we'll head for the coast. So stay tuned for more exciting Almeria impressions. So here we are, we've made it to Almeria Cathedral. Which is quite nice. And up there, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it says it was built in 1681. So there you go, it's no longer new. So that's the cathedral. Our next stop should be the Moorish fortress, the Alcazaba. So let's go and find that now. So on our way to the Moorish fortress, we did pass the square of the town hall. So this is the town hall square, which is quite nice, although it seems to be still being built, but there you go. As we were passing by, I just thought I'd show it to you. It's quite pretty. And now we head off for the Alcazaba. So what you see here is another famous Almeria landmark. They call this El Cable Inglés, but what it is basically, it's a loading bridge for ships. They used to load ships probably with cranes and buckets, and they loaded them with iron ore, I believe, and it took a long time to load the ships in this way. So then somebody came up with the idea of building this extension to the railway line, which is over there somewhere. And this way they could bring the railway trucks with the ore onto this bridge. And this end part here, that's like a big bunker. So they just chucked the ore straight from the wagons into this bunker. And then they loaded the ships, gravity fed, with chutes that came out the side. And I read a statistic somewhere, I don't know what it is, but if I can find it again, I'll put the information up here. But anyway, it made loading the ships a huge factor faster, so I think it paid for itself pretty quickly. But yes, this is now protected. At one point they were discussing removing it, but now it's a historic landmark, so they actually keep it in good nick. And I believe there's also a project to make a little commercial thing out of it with some shops and maybe a visitor centre, so we'll see whether that ever happens. But yeah, this is El Cable Inglés, which is basically a loading bridge and bunker for ore and for ships. So next stop, the beach. So get your bike serviced and then hit the beach. That sounds like a plan. So we've made it from the port, which is over there, to the beach, which extends a long way down here. So let's go for a bit of a walk. Well, I mentioned earlier that Almeria has a John Lennon connection, and this building is a big part of that connection. So, to explain, this is the Hostal Delfin Verde, and this is where John Lennon was staying, I believe in 1966, whilst filming the feature film How I Won the War, which was being filmed in the Tabernas Desert, which is about half an hour from Almeria. So during filming he was staying here, and the story goes that it was actually while staying here that he wrote the first version of Strawberry Fields. So this allegedly is the birthplace of the song Strawberry Fields. He had a early portable tape recorder, so he was able to work whilst travelling, and apparently he did write the first version of Strawberry Fields while staying here. So that's part of the connection, that this is the birthplace of Strawberry Fields. Also, John was here several times after filming. I believe he rented a villa, and I believe he was also in Carboneras, which is just down the coast. So he seemed to be a fan of the Almeria coast as well, and did spend a fair amount of holidays here. So there you go, that concludes the John Lennon connection. How true it is, I don't know. Probably Beatles lore, there's probably 10 versions of every story. But in Almeria, we are led to believe that Strawberry Fields was created here. So now we're back at El Cable Inglés, and I'm just going to make my way out of the city now towards the dealership, which should be a fair old walk. And it's 34 degrees according to that site, and it does feel every bit of those 34 degrees. So let's head back to the dealership. The Almeria Eye. Well, it might be called that, I don't know. Well, hi there. We've just got out of the big city. We're on the way home now. Buddy's had his 12-month service done, and by all accounts they did a pretty decent job. They did everything on the service schedule. They even cleaned and lubricated the chain, which I'm quite happy about, because I did have a fair bit of sand and grit in there from my off-road adventures, so that saves me having to do that job. One thing I've noticed, they seem to have removed the panniers, because this one now interferes with the passenger footrest, which it didn't do before. So when I get home I'll have to see if I can reposition that properly. But other than that, the bike's running smoothly, running well. So I think they did a very good job, and it's not too dirty really. It's got a couple of handprints here and on the panniers, but overall it's not looking too bad. I paid for the service just under 140 euros, and they did do the valves. They definitely did do the valves, because they made a point of saying that they did. So I'd say it was on the lower side of what I was expecting to pay, so that was good. And the most important thing of all is the bike seems to be running well. Oh, I see we've got some oil there we need to get rid of. Still, as I'm sure you've seen by now, I enjoyed my night in Almeria. It made a nice change, and the most important thing is Buddy's ready now for another 6 months. We can do some more fun adventures, and I definitely think after 12 months the valves did need a slight tweak. I think it does sound quieter now, so it's all good. So let's head home. Hopefully it's not too windy, and you can just follow me on the journey home. I'll just leave everything recording, and I'll give you a little edited version of the trip home. And if anything of note happens, obviously I'll talk about it. So off we go. So yes, Buddy is running well. As I just said, the price of the service was a little bit less than I was fearing. Came in under 150 euros, so that was good. And they were super efficient, and by all accounts did a jolly good job. An interesting story actually, when I arrived there, they very proudly told me that my new Speedo was already in, and I went, oh yeah, okay. And then they went and got the box and they gave me the Speedo in the box, and I said, yeah, but that's a Speedo for a Meteor, I need one for a Classic. So yeah, somewhere along the lines confusion has ensued, but it's all good. Today they've ordered a Classic Speedo, so as long as that gets there for August, when I'm due to take the Classic in for its 6-month service, everything should be fine and dandy. But bless them, they were so proud. They said, we've got your Speedo, and then I opened it and said, oh, but it's the wrong one. Never mind. So where we are at the moment, this is Tabernas Desert, and this is the kind of area where a lot of filming was done, the spaghetti westerns, and as I mentioned earlier, John Lennon was out here filming for How I Won the War. So yeah, the cinema used to be quite a big industry in these parts, people building sets and stuff like that, and costume makers obviously, but yeah, the spaghetti western phenomenon died out eventually, lost popularity, and with it the whole film industry around here kind of died as well. It's incredibly hot again. When I was walking around in the city, it was 33, 34 degrees. I think it's even hotter now because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I've got my lightest of summer jackets on, and I am sweating like a sweaty thing. Definitely a day where you think, actually, it can be too hot for motorcycling. I think we're getting pretty close to that. It's not comfortable at all today. But Buddy Hawley is doing fine. I've got my overnight bag strapped on the pillion seat, and he's chugging along with his new oils, filters, and everything good, and he seems very happy, ready for more adventures. Looks like Audi are out testing again. Get quite a lot of Audi test cars running about around these roads. So yeah, basically mission accomplished. Now I just got to get home safely, and it will have been a good trip to Almeria, a good service. So far everything has gone to plan. Now, I'm a little bit peeved about my panniers being in a different position. My guess is they just whipped them off to make the job easier, and they haven't managed to put them right back in the same position. It's only the right hand side one which is a problem, so I'll take that off again when I get home and try and get it back into its original position. Much desert, much desert. and also much wind, which is annoying, but it's not as bad as it was coming here. At least I'm actually able to enjoy the ride and I'm not hanging on for grim death today. Right, so we'll do a quick luggage safety check before we hit the twisties, and then we should be well on our way home. Just make sure our bag is still firmly attached. All good. Well, as you can probably hear, it's very windy, but I have enjoyed the ride so far, and I've got to say that the Meteor is actually going better than ever. It really is. I just came over the top of the mountain in 5th gear, and I don't think I've ever managed that before, and we did it quite comfortably. I think possibly they've changed the air filter. It feels like the bike's breathing a little bit better. Since it's been running, this is definitely the best it's been running, so it feels as though Buddy's happy with the job they did, and I'm happy because Buddy's happy. So yeah, it's very windy. I'm not sure how good or bad the audio is going to be on this. Keeping the speed down deliberately, but it's still very windy. So to conclude, the service went well, Buddy's running better than ever, and everything went well. Look, Ruby, it's a van full of dog food. Awesome. So, as we enter the quarry zone, much extraction of marble has taken place here, hence why it all looks a bit unnatural. I think I probably have enough footage now to make this a really long, boring video, so I think we'll call it a day there. I'm on the home stretch now. It's still dang windy, as you can probably hear. Goodness me. Hope you enjoyed this slightly different video, and definitely Buddy feels a lot happier after the 12-month service. He's running really well, so it's been a successful operation, and also much wine and tapas was enjoyed last night, so what's not to like? So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please take the time to give me a like. If you are not subscribed to the channel and you want to follow my adventures with my two lovely Royal Enfield 350s here in Spain, please subscribe to the channel. There should be a video for you every week, sometimes two a week. Yeah, and thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video very soon. Bye bye.